Hey, this is Cody from Landers Networking. Kind of wanted to, when I was making the last video, I kind of went through a couple of things about, the physical realm. And I thought it was very valuable in the aspect that when you speak to a person about, networking, a lot of times they need something tangible for them to be able to understand so that they can work with that information. So the best thing I can think of to do is to just lay out the physical realm, the actual equipment, something tangible, stuff that you could touch, feel, look at, and identify. That's the main key thing here for me. So first thing to be able to do that. After that is after doing Ethernet cables, I'm going to show you the actual equipment that we connect to. Now there's hubs, switches, routers, and access points, and we'll be going into that. But the first thing I want to kind of show was the home router, or the router. This is what you would imagine a router to look like. If you were to pull it up, it's going to have antennas on it. It's going to have a couple of connections, and one connection to the internet, such as you could see right here. But these kind of routers are they're more for the home user. They're going to provide wireless connection, they're going to provide a physical connection and stuff like that, firewalls and all that stuff. But in the professional world, we actually segment those off from each other. As a matter of fact, we'll be going over a couple of different things here, but primarily we just need to take a look at these hubs and these switches. So we're gonna go over a couple of pieces of equipment. Hubs are a layer 1 device. They're pretty much obsolete by this point. The only time I would ever think to use a hub is to install it in a place where I'm going to need to extend the length of an Ethernet cable. It's pretty much the only time that I could ever think that I would ever want to install a hub, because the hub's going to re-amplify that signal to be able to send it further. But essentially what they were designed and used for were to provide more physical connections for local area networks to connect to, right? If you had a LAN party, or you had like a bunch of computers, or let's say you're just at like a business meeting where you want a bunch of laptops connected physically and don't have a Wi-Fi connection for whatever reason, right? You would be connecting all those to a hub, right? That is the only bad part about it, is that hubs are all in the same collision domain. So when you send data, it can collide with other people's data, effectively bogging down the connection that you would have. Okay. However, switches operate a little bit differently. They do a better job because they break up all the collision domains onto each individual ports. So switches, you can just think of what replaced hubs. They do a better job at exactly what you want, which is more physical connections. It also provides some actually quite a bit of layer 2 features that allow you to be able to segment data away from other people. Like if you have the finances and the sales team data on the same device, you can have them separated. That way they can't snoop other people's data and such. So that's a primary thing, though. It's a layer 2 device, and these at the bottom here are the symbols that we would use in a topology. A topology is like a map, if you will, of the actual network itself. So when we would put a hub symbol here and a switch symbol here to signify that is where we would want it in our actual topology. Routers are... Now, the first thing you're going to notice about this router is that there's a lot less physical ports, because a router doesn't provide physical ports as much as it just routes traffic. Why you need a router at home is to be able to connect to the internet. The internet is a layer 3 protocol. Okay, hubs are layer 1, switches are layer 2, routers are layer 3. Okay, and the router is basically, what it does is it routes traffic, and it routes packets specifically. So if you haven't seen the PDU video that I did explaining what packets are and frames are, you can go ahead and go watch that. It's in my catalog. But primarily, routers route traffic. You can think of them like giving out directions to say, oh, you want to go this way, you can go this way. While a switch is only going to know what's directly connected to it, a router is going to know how to send data in the correct direction across the internet, which is very valuable because otherwise you wouldn't be able to send data across the internet. But what we all know as what a home router to be, and what basically the Wi-Fi, when when you have an older relative that says the Wi-Fi has gone out, they're really meaning the internet's gone out. They can connect to their Wi-Fi, but their router has just stopped working for a reason. That's what an access point does. An access point provides you that wireless connection that you can connect to be with like a phone or laptop or something, or even a computer that has a Wi-Fi card. An access point is what is used in those situations. Now, obviously, home routers come with built-in access points, but they also come in with built-in firewalls as well too. So a home router is gonna be like a cheaper version of doing it all, versus like an enterprise network will have, or a medium-sized business will have segmented equipment up just for you to be able to use it for specific needs, right? So that is what an access point does. It operates a lot at the layer 2, where it just provides you a wireless connection and segments data, and basically goes back to a router or a controller, and it then routes the data out through the public network. Those are access points, routers, switches, and hubs. Now another one here, we'll just type in a firewall to kind of show you what it looks like here. These are a bunch of splash arts. Let's take a look. Let's just type in Cisco, like firewall and Cisco. It's probably just gonna give me like a regular ASA. So this is a firewall. It performs pretty much like a lot of the same functions, but its primary focus is to provide a list of yes and no's to be able to allow traffic in and out. So it's going to have what's called an access control list, and it's going to be able to let those things in and out. Firewalls are the only thing that I didn't put on my paint drawing over here to be able to take a look at. And then, we can take a look at the symbol for that for firewalls. Tends to be like a blue on top, red on bottom, red kind of wall here. Sometimes looks like this, but primarily it's this is what you would write in a topology. It's a firewall. So that is pretty much it. Next video we're going to kind of go over like collision domains and a bunch of stuff like that, and really be getting into it. And I hope you enjoy, and I hope to see you next one.